Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder aboard the S-199, the first Israeli air tech triplane that I want to show you. And this one was a very special experience because I endured the entire stock grind. And this is actually the first battle that I played, and that was the first shots that I took with my machine guns. So it sounds like a Bf-109, it looks like a Bf-109, but it doesn't really have the armament of a Bf-109, where you would look at this plane and think that's somewhere between a G6 and G14. And that is a pretty rainbow, which is as harmful as one probably, because I have the weird and inefficient mixture of two 7.92s and two 13mm. Yeah, IL-2 is a tank, but not versus the usual armament of planes such as 50 cals or German 20mm, which in this battle I did not have with this plane. So this was my first kill, and I was really glad that I had it, because it kind of helped me to unlock the 20mm. And despite you looking in the X-ray, there is no inverted V12, and there is also no prop hub mounted 20mm, or that goes through the engine block basically. This one is exchanging the two 7.92s versus two 20mm with overall 270 rounds of ammunition, and when you have targets like that, just thank you. And I wouldn't be sure if I would have even set this guy on fire with the normal machine gun ammunition. So the 20s are the very most important upgrade that you get on this plane. Then there is the engine. The engine likes to overheat a lot. With upgrades, without upgrades, doesn't really matter. And so the manual engine control, where you just open the cooling completely, is mandatory. But even then you have an internal timer if you go with full emergency power, so the web, and you then have 5 minutes before the critical temperature jumps from 105 degrees of Celsius for water down to 100 degrees, and then the web is basically not really that usable, just in short bursts. Now other planes don't have this problem, so there you are. And this is the first kind of team play that I had. E4 easily matching my performance because I'm mostly stock. Squad mate goes in, forces the E4 to turn, and I am just looking at the Yak-1 behind him. Yeah, that was not good enough of a lead. Takes a while. Can't turn with the Yak-1B, so he outturns himself. Okay, thank you very much. The E4 is actually smoking, so indeed he received some shots. I don't want a pancake. Oh, that's close. Yeah. And the Spitfire came for the rescue. And I just love those prop dogfights. It feels really slow after having flown Phantoms and MiG-21s for the better part of 2 weeks now. But props, this is where the cinematic lighting is just awesome, where the map size feels awesome, where the pace of the battles just feels right. Almost as if it was designed for props, but not for jets. I'm sorry, but yeah, different topic. So, the 20mm. Wing mounted, but you missed the prop mounted one. And I think that's still enough firepower, and those 20s make the world's greatest difference, because then you actually can really kill something. As long as you are not brain dead spraying all over the place and have a little bit of trigger discipline, that's more than enough firepower, especially for battle rating 3.3. However, when you're stock, it's god-awful performance. You can't take speed, you have no energy retention, you can't turn, and you also don't climb, and even in a dive, you just don't accelerate. So while your teammates are sometimes really bad, sometimes the enemies are worse. Oh my god. Thank you very much. That was making my day. So you can actually carry also bombs with this plane, but it's just too 50 or 70 kilogram ones, not really worth talking about. Definitely not the 250 kilogram from I think the G2, something like that, right? And it's been years since the BF-109s lost their 500 kilogram bomb. What a shame, actually. And despite multiple enemies having significantly better planes, and most of them are also upgraded, think about all the premium aircraft, they throw away their advantage, and that makes it even possible with this plane to do anything. So I killed the first one, the P-38, and yeah, that P-51 also doesn't really make it that difficult. Thank you. So that's 3 kills in this battle alone, and I was almost done, but then the following happened, that I got involved within a fight where I wasted somewhere in the meantime 100 rounds of cannon ammunition, which I deeply regret. So because that could have given me another 1 or 2 kills. But you know, when you're stock grinding, 3 kills is already quite a bit. I see the P40 coming in, come on, and yep, I'm out of cannon ammo, and I'm only left with the 13mm, and I tried out the stealth rounds, which should be better as API rounds, but yeah, I don't know where they're going, and the lead is god awful. And this F4U, like, look at him. I should have easily killed him. If I had some cannon rounds left, he'd be dead. And now I'm out of 20mm of machine gun ammo as well. And this plane feels so heavy, so slow. It feels like going through honey. When you have no engine upgrades, no airframe upgrades, it's exceptionally bad. Let's put it that way. It's no fun at all. Again, I made the entire stock grind myself, and bad. So I still think that it's a capable aircraft, and there is just one little trick. Just have some patience. Just do a little bit of side climbing. Why is that so important? Because a lot of people don't have patience. They dive on the first target they see, and then they just make things work for them, things worse for themselves. And what this allows you to do, a little bit of side climbing, is not so much in terms of gaining altitude, but you give the enemy time to gain altitude superiority to you, and then lose it again because they dive on the first teammate of yours that they see. So you let the furball develop, and then you just dive in. Doesn't really work all the time, because there are always very often some dedicated seal clubbing teams. But when it works, it's nice. And so be in the vicinity of your team, be close enough to help them out when needed, but be far away enough to not be the prime target of enemy planes. So here I'm going a little bit into a furball myself, but it's kind of like the enemy stall, get themselves almost ready to get in front of my guns. But again, it feels so slow. This plane really feels slow. So when you open up the cooling, you obviously increase the air resistance. So when you go into a sharp dive, you better close it and yeah, get a little bit into the overheat. And at the end of the day, the 20mm gun ports are really noticeable. And now let's see who's better in the head-on. Yeah, it's the German 20mm, and I got away without a scratch. But then there was one final thing. I only got 1 upgrade per match because it was a test drive, and I forgot to purchase this. After I purchased it and relogged in, I got the remaining RP. And that's already it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this little dive back into some basic stuff. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the enemies, and the stock run is really painful with a 109 airframe. It's really bad. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a like, subscribe, and hit the bell if you want to see more. And we'll see each other on the waves, in the skies, and on the battlefields of War Thunder.